are here today with composer, producer, session player, and fiddle player Barbara Lamb. Barbara has performed with many artists such as John Cowan, Asleep at the Wheel, and Riders in the Sky. She also teaches and hosts many workshops and camps here in Nashville and around the country. So Barbara, tell us how you got started playing.
I got started by following my parents around to Scandinavian dances.
Oh, okay.
When I was just a kid. And they had live fiddle players. So I learned how to play the schottisches, the waltzes, the polkas. And from there I went into more of a bluegrass, old-timey fiddle contest world. Took lessons from a woman in Seattle named Vivian Williams.
Okay.
And then after that.
Well, tell us about the Barbara Lamb solo show.
The Barbara Lamb solo show can be many things given the circumstances and what happens to be in the car at the time.
Okay.
I've used boxes of Cheerios as instruments, sometimes hitting the face.
Yeah.
So when people say, well, is it just a woman standing there playing fiddle tune after fiddle? No, it's not that. It's a lot of instruments stacked on top of each other with the use of a looping pedal.
Okay.
She lays enough for the whole dang crew. Cluck old hand. Oh, cluck old hand.
Well, Barbara, I know that you're such an accomplished player in many different styles, such as bluegrass and then western swing. How did you become so versatile in so many different ways?
I practiced.
Yeah.
I like all those different styles. I started playing old-time square dance music.
Sure.
From there went to bluegrass, and then a lot of bluegrass bands were playing western swing-ish stuff. So I learned all that when I was a teenager. They're also related, really. I also like to play really great funk rhythms in rock bands, gypsy rhythms. I don't know. I think it's all related. All right. This is worth maybe $1 or $2 million of future gig pay if you can use this lick for backing up. We're going to go very, very slowly now. It's like this. That's it. Breaking it down even more, we're going to go bow direction, down, up, down, up, up, down, up.
Well, tell us about your experience with Ray Benson and Asleep at the Wheel.
Oh, you know, I played with Asleep at the Wheel for 1 year, and in that year I got to meet and play with really heroes of mine. I got to play with Willie Nelson.
Wow.
Asleep at the Wheel one night was his backing band for this thing. Asleep at the Wheel was on tour with Waylon Jennings and Willie, so I got to play with both of them. I got to play and sing with Bruce Hornsby.
Yeah.
I was the only one in the band that could sing higher than Bruce. I got to play with Emmylou Harris. Gosh, who else? Shelby Lynn. And I got to meet all these people. I got to play on the Opry for the first time with Asleep at the Wheel. Twisty girl.
Well, tell us about all of your teaching and the camps and workshops that you're involved with.
I teach at several camps every summer.
Yeah.
This summer I taught at Steve Kaufman's acoustic camp outside of Knoxville. Last summer I taught at Mark O'Connor's fiddle camp. That is a fun camp.
Yeah.
Hundreds of fiddlers kind of running amok. I've taught at the Montana Old Time Fiddlers Camp, several camps in California, Nash Camp here in Nashville. They are similar and they are different. So the thing to do is to find a camp that's really tailored to your needs. If you're a mom and you've got 3 kids, you know, you might want to find out, is this camp a very family-friendly kind of camp? I personally like the camps that have lots and lots and lots of fiddle players in them. Go figure. Oh, I forgot to use my Cheerios box as a shaker. Hang on a second. I got this. Household items.
So tell us what it was like to be Mark O'Connor's very first teacher.
At the time, I didn't know what I was getting into. He was only 11 years old, and he hadn't played the fiddle yet, and I was 14. And he was my very first fiddle student. So I was his first fiddle teacher. He was my first student. The thing that was really extraordinary about young Mark is that he had a seriousness of an older person about him. He practiced every lesson. I don't ever remember a time when he came to a lesson unprepared the next week, and his level of excelling was absolutely scary. I taught him for a little more than a year, and he went from this is how you hold the fiddle to becoming the state champion.
Wow.
It's my first lesson. Still practicing lesson number 1. In a year from now, I will be so awesome.
Well, Barbara, thank you so much for talking with us today and inviting us into your colorful, lovely home.
I'm so glad you stopped by. Next time, double espresso.
Deal.
Okay.